Right. Hello there. Welcome to Tales of the Buller podcast. I have sitting opposite me Pete Southon, who's a bit of a legend in these parts. Manages the golf course at Carter's Beach and has had a pretty interesting go of it. So, how you going today, Pete?
Oh, not too bad at all.
Well, thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in, mate.
Not
I
at
know
all.
we've talked about it for a while.
Yeah.
So, Pete was born sort of late Jurassic period, somewhere around there. So,
Oh,
so he's pretty good on dinosaurs because he's had a few pets, but not really. Really, Pete was brought up in Inangahua. So when were you born, Pete?
the 30th of the 9th, 1944.
Well, that's not too bad, is it? Just before the end of World War Two.
Yes.
And brothers and sisters?
Yeah. Two sisters and two brothers.
Well, I met one, Gary. Who's the other one?
Well, Thomas's mother at the shop,
Right.
Faye, and she died a couple of years ago, and my youngest sister, she died when she was 51, 52.
That's no good.
Yeah. And she was just a bit younger than me.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
So, for those who don't know, Inangahua is a small rural town between the upper and lower Buller Gorges. So it's stuck in the Southern Alps. It's Inangahua Junction as you can shoot off to Westport.
Inangahua camp is where I live.
Oh, sorry.
That's the other
Sorry.
side, yeah.
Oh, okay. So you used to live in the what was the difference?
Well, the camp used to be a Ministry of Works camp. There was two or three houses, big houses, and about a dozen small huts.
Oh
where
yeah.
the workers were.
So what was your dad doing?
He built a garage there after the war, and he had his own trucks carting metal and fixing cars, and yeah.
So I bet that was bloody cold in winter, was it?
When you're young, you get used to it. I think.
That's right. That's right.
I used to take the shoes off to go to school.
Oh really?
In the winter, and Mum and Dad used to go bloody mad. Where'd you leave them this time? I wasn't going to tell them. It's a secret place.
So tell us about sort of growing up, because Inangahua was very out in the bush.
Well, yeah, I'm on the main highway, but there's a school there of, I think, about 50 or 60 people. And it was good. You've just learnt to make yourself happy, do something that a lot of people couldn't do because they were living in town. So,
You'd have had to make a lot of your own stuff, wouldn't you?
oh, for sure. Shanghais and huts in the bush, which we'll get into that later.
How many people would have been there? Do you have any idea?
There probably would have been 30 or 40 families, I suppose.
Yeah, it was reasonable.
Oh, it was reasonable, right? Yeah. And I think the camp was the better part of it because, the hills are all around you, whereas on the other side, hills are still around you, but there's more family over where I was. That
Right.
side of it, the camp.
What about like shops, things like that?
There was one shop and a movie theatre. The guy come up from Westport here and showed movies on a Friday night.
Well, that's good.
And of course, the oldies had dances. And my grandfather was really good fiddler, and he used to pay for the dancing. Yeah,
There's a lot of music here, though, isn't there? Really, I think
yeah, could be. Yeah.
quite a bit of music up and down the whole west coast. Really.
Oh, yes, yeah. Up there was only, I think somebody had a guitar, but they used to dance to it.
So what did you used to do like for fun on the weekends when you were a kid?
Well, I used to go fishing, shooting when I got a wee bit older, when I was 16. Dad gave me his 3-0 and I used to go up in the bush and try and shoot a deer. And fishing was great, really great. It's, the Inangahua River was full of it, so yeah, it was good.
So you'd be pretty good at cooking up trout.
I didn't do any bloody cooking. Oh, sorry.
So, one of the things that Inangahua is famous for, unfortunately, is that there was a bloody big earthquake,
That's right, yeah.
1968. So, and you were just recently married,
Yeah,
right?
I was married 12 months, but I worked for Nelson Transport. I was there. I managed the depot over there and prior to getting married, and yeah, Sandra loved it too because there was a tennis court there and a bit of fun, and it was only now come to down here. We had a car, so we got around a bit. Yeah.
So, tell us about that day when the earthquake happened.
Well, it was a big wake up call, I suppose you could call it, because that we could hear there was a big shake, a really big shake, and more coming in all the time, and that was at 5:30 in the morning roughly, and we had trouble getting out of bed because there was a Duchess across it, and wardrobe had fallen out, and by the time we got out, could open the door, we were met by we had a pug, Sandra style, and that beat us through the door. We got under the bed and we couldn't get it out, so it was there for half a day. So, but getting out was the biggest problem because we lit the fire through the night and went out, and the embers were starting. They were spreading. They didn't burn up, but when you got through into the kitchen, it was that dark you didn't know what was on the floor, and if you had no Sandra cut foot quite bad walking on the glass as you got out. My feet were probably tougher, But here we got outside and waited for a while until it got a bit lighter and shot in and got some clothes and got straight back outside and put the clothes on outside, not inside, because the shaking was there full more.
Yeah. I bet your feet were tough because you'd been spent all your youth walking to school in bare feet.
That's right. It's changed a wee bit now. But, oh no, it's just what you did back then. Play rugby and you're picking goals with your toes. It's just one of those things.
That's right. That's right. So it happened at 5:30, and you managed to get outside.
Yep.
Was your roof all right?
The chimney was down in the house, so no, it wasn't good. That's all that collapsed inside. It was the big concrete chimney started to come down. So yeah, and outside we could hear people talking there further down. So we waited. We got dressed before we walked down there. That was just starting daylight, and there was people had a bonfire, and we kept warm that way.
And how long until anyone came to see if you're okay, like government, police, or whatever?
Oh no, it was only young fella that worked for me in the depot, and he wandered up when it was light enough, and I met him halfway down, when we were down to their place, and yeah, it was different, but you had to do these things.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so were you evacuated?
That comes a wee bit later on. We were given, the ladies were flown out, right? Most of them. And Sandra was flown out. And that was from over in the camp. We were in the junction when this earthquake was. And we weren't given the go ahead to walk out until 4 o'clock. You don't get, we had to walk on the way up the railway line to Reef, and it was quite strange. But a guy got told off anyway. We were going to go over the slip, the railway line, just before where it blew out, and he said, "Oh, quick! There's another shake coming." And of course, everybody got shaky, and they didn't want to,
Yeah,
they were screaming. They went real right off. But it was the first and last time he'd said it. I tell you that now. And he got over the slip, and started walking it was on the railway line, and then started walking towards Reef.
Jeez. So the women were chopped out,
90% of them were.
and the
Yeah,
remaining people
walk
walked to Reefton.
we got picked up around just short of this side of Rondon,
Okay.
which was still 15 k's, miles those days, I think it was.
It was a fair walk. Yeah.
I know. We got picked up about 11 o'clock at night.
You'd have all been in a little bit of shock too, probably, without even
Oh,
knowing
yeah,
it.
for real. Because the shake was always there, you know. And we were looked after when we got briefed. And there was we were put into a hall, and people tried to find. I had cousins there, so we stopped with them. But within the next couple of days, they sorted out houses for us, and they were all forestry houses, and they'd been left to rot, and the floorboards out and all that.
Oh, great.
And one we had, there's two couples of us in there, and the other couple knew the guy that had all the carpentry and all that there, and he dropped pieces off so we could fill the holes. And in time, the coal miners, I got to know them pretty well when I was working for T&L because I used to pick up coal from them. And they dropped some coal off when they could get to their mine. And, it was quite snug.
So was Reefton not so badly hurt?
No.
Because Westport was, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, they had their own earthquake prior to that. Yeah, they did feel it down this way because it was in, I don't know what it is. But it was down here.
Because I think someone told me the other night that nearly every chimney in Westport fell over.
The place we had that shocked me because it was pretty solid. The big concrete blocks, and they split and fell. And I wasn't really worried about Westport much there. I was just, I worried about my parents over the other side of the bridge.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough, mate. So how long did it take to sort of clean everything up so you could go back to Inangahua?
Oh, it would have been 3 or 4 weeks. I had to get a road made first, because there was a lot of roads uprooted between Inangahua and Westport and Inangahua and Redford.
What about, I read somewhere that they were really concerned about the river because the big slip had come down.
That was the earthquake day. Yeah. That's why they were waiting to see what happened. The ministry, they were flowing in and that, and the up past the Lyell there was a big slip, and it stopped the river flow, and it was building up, and they were talking about bringing something in to blow it out with a boat. And the people, friends of ours who stayed with us in Reefton after that, they were on the farm at 3 Channel, which was just up past the camp, about 3 k's, and they wouldn't move out of their place. And they were to be the first one to be wiped out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And, it just slowly broke its banks, and it dribbled out, and that's why, it was quite safe in the end to be there.
That was quite lucky, wasn't it? That was pretty lucky, I think.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. So, any other memories of the earthquake?
Oh, there was plenty of it, really. We lived in Redford for quite some time because they wouldn't do the house up, and probably been there 3 months, and in the end, I took the job, and I had no help from the bosses in Nelson Transport, and quite lucky because one of the drivers, he used to come go around Shenandoah Road and out down through Reefton out to Greymouth and round the bottom load to Westport. And he used to drop some veggies off, and it was all he had to pick him up to deliver him down the road, and he got extra ones for us. And
A decent sort of a bloke.
he was a bloody great guy.
So,
But, oh no, it's a pity because it's a lovely place to live up there. It's
Yeah.
quiet, and you made your own fun. And,
it is beautiful. It's a beautiful spot.
Yeah.
It really is. So, all right, we're getting on to a bit more pleasant conversations. What about sport? What did you do? Did you play rugby?
I did. I come down here when the Gorge was open. Tuesday night for training, and Thursday night, and go up the next morning. Stop down here with Sandra's parents. So, yeah, that was good. As I say, you made it work for yourself. Yeah.
Did you ever play the folks down in Greymouth?
Football?
Rugby, yeah.
Oh, no, not really. Oh, no. They had a team in Inangahua, but they were a senior team, and that was kaput after that. Yeah. I refereed after I gave up rugby.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and I refereed down that way as well. Yeah, yeah, I can't be. I gave up rugby when I was about 31 or 32, and I just took up refereeing. Yeah.
How long did you ref for?
2 or 3 years, I suppose.
Good on you.
Yeah.
That's it.
But then I got back into golf. You see, that's when I got into golf.
Oh, yeah, I didn't mention that at the beginning. Pete is a very good golfer and well known around the Buller for his exploits.
No, as you get older, you wonder why the ball's not going so far.
So, when did you leave Inangahua?
When did we leave? Oh, it was in the end of sometime in January. I couldn't give you the date. I think it was January, just after Christmas.
Yeah, what bloody year?
Hey?
What year?
Oh, well, it had to be end of 68.
Oh, so
Yeah.
straight
Yeah,
after the earthquake.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I wouldn't be, we sort of didn't moan, but they just never helped us with anything,
So Inangahua was just a mess for a long time.
Oh, it was, yeah.
That's bloody terrible, really, if you think about
It
it.
is, yeah.
So where'd you go after that?
I come down here and got a job with Pat Avery driving. Well, I played for Old Boys, and Pat was I knew him very, very well, and he owned all these trucks that carried coal down the. Yeah, and after one game, we were talking there, and I said, Pat, have you got any jobs? And yeah, I've got a truck there for you if you want one. And that's how it started.
Well, that's good.
Give them 2 weeks' notice in Nelson and come down here.
Gee, that worked out well.
Oh, yeah. It's, no, it was good.
So what sort of memories do you have of those days? Anything funny happen on the trucks?
Something bad happened on the truck one day, but
Oh, okay.
you might. It had just been serviced. The Betzers, they had the old KM Bedfors, and they had a bad habit of breaking in the diffie, And anyway, I come out of the bin at the bottom of there's a bit of a dip. You went up on Denison?
Yep.
Go down into where the road, the empty trucks were pulled up and they were full of coal, empty of coal, and it was the ones going down that pulled them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's where the bin was where we got the coal. I got halfway up this little hill, and right outside the pub. It's not because it's a pub.
Oh, right.
It's not there now, and it closed just after, and it just seized up because the diffie just bloody, and apparently they hadn't put the sump plug tight enough in the truck when it was picked up. I got it from that side, and I had to be lowered down the hill. It was fully loaded. One truck in front, one behind, holding it back.
Oh,
And
crikey.
you go down that, what they call the airstrip.
Yeah, that's steep.
I know. And but there was no brakes either. And to get round the corners, I had my feet up on the dashboard trying to get it round. And it only took say 28 minutes to go downhill loaded with coal normally. It took me 3 hours on this trip. And I was absolutely shattered.
Well, you would be.
The arms were dropping out. Yeah. And I was really scared, but yeah, I just had to concentrate on what I was doing.
Jesus, crikey, too. So you were up and down Denniston every day?
Yep, we had, there was one guy who was an idiot. He could come down in 16 minutes where it took us 28. So he got an extra look. It's usually 7 trucks up and down, seven a day. And he got down, I think he put 8 or 9 loads down. He was an idiot. He was known for that, you know.
Right.
Yeah, but no, we tipped it into it. There was a train that parked at down the bottom of Waimang, and we just tipped it into the wagons. Yeah.
So straight into the coal wagons and then down. Okay.
And go back up again for another. Yeah, we started at 5:30 in the morning and finished at 3:30 in the afternoon. So.
That sounds a bit of a bummer, but it's actually not that bad if you finish early.
No, you just had to have your wits on. It'd be a narrow road, and and a fern was coming back down the hill with the road. You could hear him. The exhaust brake coming on, and you made sure you got a quite a bit of road so you could go cheap fast.
So where'd all you truckies go and have a beer? Was it Waimang?
No, you wouldn't drive in. Yeah,
After work.
After work, not through the week. I don't know. I can't remember really drinking much. Or the Albion, they'd come in there. That was my drinking place down there.
How long did you do that for?
A couple of years. Then my dad, his brother, he was looking after what he had down here. He had a flying fox and crusher at the Buller Bridge. It's gone there.
Yeah.
And I was there doing that for 5 or 6 years, managing that. He had to get rid of it because he was flogging all the money out of what he was doing there. And Dad found out money wasn't coming in, and he said, "Would I look after it?" I went, sure. Bought a house in Russell Street, and we loved it here.
So what was Westport like then?
Well, there was 17 pubs around. That's in it. 24 pubs in a 25-mile radius. That's what it was like.
Wow, that's cool.
But there was a couple that was the old boys one was McManus. They looked after us. But, on a Saturday night, after I retired, not retired, but finished with a mate of mine, he used to go to the Albion. It's closed now, and that's where that was a good place, Lundy's place. It was really good to drink there.
Yeah, some pretty good people around this area, isn't there, really?
Right, yeah.
There is.
Yep.
So what else can you think of? Any good yarns?
No, I could tell you. I wanted to talk a wee bit about Inangahua, and
Go on.
It's just the fact that I was 9 months pregnant with me, and our house was up above the railway lines, right? And this day, Mum happened to look out, and I was born just after. She saw this little kid on the railway line, and the train was coming, and she got down the bank, and just in time, she picked it up and jumped into the ferns on the side of the railway line and blackberries.
Yeah.
To save the kid, and she got I think it's a George Medal for that.
Jesus, that's amazing.
And that's what she was like, and anybody got hurt or cut or anything, she would look after them at Inangahua. And the garage got burnt down twice and the house once by somebody that owed Dad money, and she drove all the trucks out while it was on fire while Dad was trying to put it out. That's how you brought up.
That's incredible. That's an amazing story, especially kid on the railway tracks.
Yeah. And
so She ran down the track, grabbed the kid, and leapt into the bush.
Yeah, and she was 9 months pregnant.
Gee.
But yeah, it's probably the thing. What you have to, everybody talks about these things, and it actually got burnt on one of the fires we had, and it was replaced by the government. So my brother's got that. I'm going to get it off him because I'm the oldest thing. Okay?
Yeah, good on you. That's amazing, Pete.
Yeah.
Well, there's some pretty good genes there, mate.
And another time, they were going down to the Hokitika races, Mum and Dad, and two friends, and a car had collided with a train then, and on the Hokitika Bridge side of the,
I know the bridge.
And Mum climbed under there, and the kid couldn't get out, 3-year-old, 3 or 4, I think it was, and she was with the kid for about 3 hours under that. Nobody else would do it, just jump at it, and 2 of the parents were dead, I think. Yeah.
Oh, what an amazing woman.
Yes, she was, yeah.
Mind you, there seems to be a very strong breed of women on the coast in general.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that's strong, everyone really, isn't it? But some pretty strong women here. Man, it's incredible, Pete.
Yeah. And the house, we went over to have a look at it as soon as it was light enough to go. Russell Teague owned the shop at Inangahua. I had no footwear on, so he grabbed a pair of slippers through his broken window in the shop. And we had footwear then. And anyway, we walked over. And getting over the Inangahua Bridge, he had to climb because both approaches had dropped.
Right.
And climbed up, going over, and halfway across the bridge was another shape. And the bridge wasn't straight; it was all piggledy across with the earthquake, and we had to run it. We didn't know whether it was going to collapse or not. The other end of the bridge, you had to climb up the bank to get on the road. It's just unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
How many people died in Inangahua?
It was only one.
It was that place
Slip.
on the hill, wasn't it?
Yeah. But that was a pity, because the people that owned the house, they owned the mine, the coal mine, just as the other side of Berlin's, and they always got out on a stormy night because of the big rock face way up top.
Yeah.
And as it happened, when the rocks come down, the slip, the 2 garage doors, one on either side of the house, they were open. And they weren't touched. It was only the house.
Oh.
It was just unbelievable. An old Fred Jackson, he was a hard man, and he put his wife out on the veranda. Went back to the mother-in-law. No, he put the mother-in-law on the veranda, and he went back for his wife, and that's when the slip hit.
Oh.
You could hear it coming.
I thought you were going to say you put the wife out on the veranda and took the mother-in-law back in the house.
No, but the mother-in-law, the mother, she's the one that got killed.
Oh, right. Sorry.
He went down with the mother-in-law. And,
I saw some photos of it actually recently. There's been some more photos come out. I was quite shocked at the state of it all.
Yeah. Well, it's you remember things later on. With Mum and Dad's house was that red. You look through 4 rooms. The toilet, the old Dunny it was always outside the house in the old days. You could look through that kitchen, the lounge, into their bedroom. So their place was shattered too.
Wow.
It's rebuilt there, up on there. But it wasn't rebuilt for a while. It's, yeah.
I did see on the this thing that's come out recently that the tiled roofs there all just collapsed, but the corrugated iron roofs went so bad.
Yeah, well, actually, there's one young kid. He wasn't even at school yet, but he was one of the gangers for the railway, and their houses were below the school,
Right.
either side of the gap. And their roof didn't collapse, but some of the chimney come through, landed on the end of the kid's bed.
Oh.
Had he been 4 foot tall, he would have killed him.
Oh,
He missed the feet just by inches. Yeah, you hear different stories, but it's funny.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I might have heard that one, actually, but
Yeah.
lucky he wasn't tall then.
Yeah. Yeah, and no, it's you know how it was named?
No, I do not.
You don't. Well,
No.
once Mum was, you have to be in hospital when you have babies. Back then, you had to be in there for a couple of weeks, at least. And she said to Dad to go and see at the council where they had birth, death, marriage, and all this, and the go and name me. And he said, "What will I call him?" I said, "Just you'll think of a name. You got to do it." And the guys there only couldn't think of a name, and the fella behind the counter said, "What's your name?" He said, "Peter." "Oh, that'll do." That's how I got my name, and that's why I haven't got two. Everyone else, my other siblings had double names. Mine was just Peter Southon.
It's crazy.
That's just a wee bit I.
No, that's
You know,
interesting.
later on. Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, here's the question. So, if you were in Inangahua and there was an accident, where would you go to for medical? Would it be Refton?
Refton.
How long was that? How long did that take you to get there?
Oh, up to 35, 45 minutes. 45 minutes, I suppose you could say, because roads have got wider and quicker now.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, Pete. We've hit over the half an hour mark, just about it.
Yeah.
But I think we can do another one of these because I think there's quite a few more stories there.
Yeah, about when I was young, yes, there is.
Well, that's great. And I hope this hasn't been too stressful for you.
No, I just feel a bit of a dork doing it, but I shouldn't. I know.
It's just something new. So I just want to say thanks very much for coming on. I know it's a bit of a bugger to mess up your weekend and days off, but
No,
thank you very much.
not a problem.